This is for you, the person who deserves to age with every bit of clarity, calm, and strength intact. We're past the era of accepting mental fog, sleepless nights, or rising anxiety as inevitable parts of getting older. That narrative is tired. It is also fundamentally false and disempowering. We must actively reject the fatalistic belief that diminished cognitive capacity is merely a calendar event, rather than a consequence of accumulated, unmanaged environmental stress. I'm a physician, but before that, I'm a human who watched too many people accept cognitive drift because they thought the only solution came in a complex prescription or an invasive procedure. That's not where the lasting systemic change happens. Lasting peace, cognitive resilience, and profound emotional stability are built in the small, safe spaces of your daily life, spaces you have the immediate power to control and optimize. Look around your living room right now. What do you see? Every single item, every change in light temperature, every background sound, every texture you touch is a sophisticated sensory input demanding neurological attention. And right now, the primary challenge facing the 60-plus brain isn't a lack of medication. It's cognitive overload. The modern world, especially the digital realm, bombards our senses relentlessly. We have to stop thinking of mental health maintenance as a battle fought entirely inside your head, requiring intense mental effort or esoteric meditation techniques. It's a battle fought right here, in your immediate environment, through intentional sensory defense. When your mind feels scattered, when your thoughts race uncontrollably, or when that crucial name sits maddeningly just out of reach, the immediate, most effective fix is often found not in demanding brain games or expensive supplements, but in simply reducing the sheer sensory demand placed on your vulnerable nervous system. We are talking about reducing the cost of processing the world around you. We are going to shift small, manageable things: light, breath, sound, posture, scent, and clutter. These micro changes are not trivial. They are seismic for emotional stability, sustained focus, accurate memory recall, and restorative sleep quality. We are talking about tangible benefits you can feel immediately. Calm thoughts before sleep, feeling intrinsically safe and grounded when alone, remembering the name on the tip of your tongue immediately, and waking up feeling genuinely lighter and motivated. Want to know the secret to restoring calm faster than a formal 30-minute meditation session, which can feel daunting? It's often just moving 3 visually chaotic items off a countertop and creating a visual stop sign for your eyes. Seriously, the speed of the relief is often shocking. Here's the powerful paradox of aging. Well, the older we get, the more protective and stringent we need to be of our finite mental resources. And the biggest, most insidious drain on those resources isn't tackling big existential problems. It's the constant low-grade energy-sapping background noise of unmanaged input. We leak energy constantly through unnecessary filtering. The clutter that steals memory and attention. I hear this precise sentiment often in consultations. I know I shouldn't be anxious, but when I walk into my kitchen, my chest tightens and I feel overwhelmed. This reaction highlights the common mistake we make. We rigidly separate physical surroundings from internal emotional feeling. But the brain doesn't see a teetering pile of unsorted mail and think, I should handle that task later. It sees 17 micro-decisions pending, all visually screaming for immediate attention and categorization. The brain registers a failure to complete, a list of demands. This is the relentless clutter that steals memory and focused attention. The constant barrage of visual noise, the unchecked stack of magazines, the too bright screens flickering irrelevant images, the overlapping, often colorful decorations, forces the prefrontal cortex into a state of perpetual triage. This process, known as continuous inhibition, demands immense metabolic energy. Essentially, your brain spends precious cognitive reserve trying to categorize and dismiss irrelevant stimuli, a deep, silent energy tax that directly depletes the resources earmarked for focused recall, complex problem-solving, and the critical process of memory consolidation. When you are constantly inhibiting background sensory information, You activate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis, maintaining a subtle low-grade state of alert that mimics chronic stress. Every time you walk past that cluttered corner or open that disorganized cupboard, your brain performs a substantial silent energy tax. You rarely feel the tax immediately in the moment, but you absolutely feel the cumulative deficit later in the day. Acute mental fog, reduced motivation, frustrating difficulty switching tasks, and a significantly elevated baseline anxiety that has no apparent cause. This is precisely why a visually cluttered kitchen raises generalized anxiety, and why leaving the noisy television or talk radio on as background filler severely worsens working memory and processing speed. We mistakenly confuse constant stimulation for comfort or companionship. We trade mental clarity and true peace for superficial noise, and we pay for it with our most valuable cognitive resource: attention. My strongest advice? Embrace sensory minimalism in high traffic zones, the areas you frequently transition through or work in. You don't need to become a strict minimalist overnight, but you must strategically create designated anti-anxiety corners. In your home, an anti-anxiety corner is one small intentional space, a specific desk surface, a kitchen island section, the area immediately beside your favorite reading chair that is completely clear of visual debris, demanding zero cognitive effort. It is the place where your eyes and mind can land and find immediate unconditional rest. It is a visual sanctuary. The psychological and physiological power of a truly quiet corner is immense. It allows the mind to enter a necessary state of constructive rest, where the key default mode network, DMN, the network active during planning, mind-wandering, and rumination, can actually slow down its frenetic pace and begin its repair work. Silence and visual simplicity in the room sharply clarify the mind and restore executive function. Furthermore, reducing visual chaos lowers the constant inflow to the hippocampus, allowing it to better manage the encoding and retrieval of genuine memories rather than managing input noise. The sound plus light. Peace formula, optimizing environmental inputs. Let's talk briefly about physics and the deep relationship between light exposure and your endocrine system. This is a non-negotiable step for stabilizing mood after 60. As the sun sets, your body needs the physiological signal to begin producing melatonin, the hormone critical for initiating sleep and protecting cellular health. If you are sitting under a cool blue-white LED or fluorescent bulb in the evening, you are actively confusing your body's ancient, hardwired clock. Blue light, even low-intensity exposure, signals midday alarm to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, in the brain, subsequently spiking cortisol production exactly when you need your stress hormones to be winding down for the night. This simple, intentional routine, stringently managing light quality and exposure after 4 p.m., is often more effective than many prescribed anti-anxiety or sleep medications for long-term nervous system stabilization, primarily because it works at this with your deep intrinsic biology, not against it. The foundational peace formula. 1. Reduce visual temperature. Starting 2 to 3 hours before your target bedtime, swap harsh, overhead bright white bulbs for much warmer, deeper amber or red spectrum light sources. Think specific bedside lamps, floor lamps, or dimmers, rather than reliance on ceiling lights. Soft, low light encourages the crucial slow-wave brain states, delta and theta, associated with profound physical calm and optimal memory processing and cleaning, the glymphatic system. Implement blue light filters on all screens immediately. 2. Reduce auditory complexity. Ruthlessly ditch the constant background news cycle, high-intensity talk radio, or frantic, emotionally charged reality television. If you genuinely need ambient sound, choose instrumental music, avoiding complex, stimulating jazz or classical during winding down. Pure natural sounds, rain, ocean, simple fire crackle, or, ideally, pure silence. Silence is powerful restorative fuel for the brain. It gives the auditory processing centers a much-needed, non-negotiable break from sorting incoming data, which significantly reduces mental fatigue. 3. Visual anchor deployment. Place one object in your newly created anti-anxiety corner that is visually pleasing, simple, and holds deep personal meaning. This should be benign and uncomplicated. A small, vibrant green plant, a smooth, natural riverstone, a framed photograph of a peaceful landscape. When your mind races or feels pulled in multiple directions, your gaze lands here, providing a silent, gentle, yet immediate mental break and a return to the present moment. We are essentially performing high-level internal filtering by meticulously controlling external sensory input. You are consciously designing a safe, predictable, low-demand environment where the hippocampus, the memory center, and the amygdala, the fear and emotional center, can finally communicate and coordinate without interruption, leading to reduced reactivity. Clarity foods, stabilizing the foundation of mood and focus. We often focus too much energy chasing exotic superfoods, like unusual berries or obscure roots, and miss the absolute basics of systemic brain energy stabilization. Your baseline anxiety, your ability to focus, and your midday motivation are profoundly and inextricably tied to what you put in your body, and crucially, when you consume it. If you want sustained energy, cognitive sharpness, and unwavering emotional stability after 60, you must become ruthless and highly disciplined about minimizing drastic blood sugar swings. Stable glucose is stable mood. Forget the myth of the afternoon slump or sugar crash. That sudden, sharp drop in energy and mood around 2 p.m. isn't laziness or a lack of motivation. It's overwhelmingly often reactive hypoglycemia resulting from a lunch high in refined sugar or rapidly digested carbohydrates. This sharp spike and crash cycle is incredibly stressful on the entire body, triggering adrenaline and cortisol release and physically mimicking an anxiety attack, manifesting as shakiness, sudden racing heart, intense irritability, and difficulty concentrating. The swap is simple and fundamental. Prioritize ample protein, high-quality fiber, and healthy complex fat at every single meal, starting with breakfast. Instead of reaching for a large portion of white pasta, a sugary snack bar, or a processed cereal, consciously choose eggs, nuts, avocados, fatty fish, and legumes. These clarity foods release glucose slowly and evenly into the bloodstream, providing a steady, reliable baseline for mood and focus that lasts hours, minimizing the HPA axis stress response. The importance of unrefrigerated staples for brain energy. Think about the foods that promote instant hydration and provide steady, accessible energy release. High-quality drinking water must be constant. A small handful of raw nuts, a spoonful of premium olive oil. While these don't require refrigeration, they need to be constant, non-negotiable components of your daily dietary intake for stable mentals. Performance. The nighttime edge, controlling nocturnal. Cortisol. Sleep is the only period where true memory consolidation and mental debris clearing happens, and interrupted sleep leads directly and predictably to heightened anxiety and cognitive dullness the very next day. Crucially, a significant dip in blood sugar during the deepest part of the night is often enough to trigger a physiological cortisol spike, causing you to wake up abruptly around 3 a.m., wide-eyed, panicked, and worried, despite having no immediate problem. This is a hormonal panic signal. Try this simple, highly effective preventative trick. A small, intentional piece of fruit before bed for calm, uninterrupted dreams. A few berries, half an apple, or a small banana provides just enough stable, naturally occurring sugar, fructose, and fiber to gently carry your brain smoothly through the critical deep sleep cycles, preventing that disruptive nocturnal blood sugar drop and the subsequent adrenaline surge. Crucially, do not make this a massive sugary dessert or ice cream. Make it a small, intentional energy stabilizer designed purely for metabolic continuity. Movement for mind. The standing, still reset, and vagal toning. You need powerful anchor habits, small, repeatable actions that ground you immediately in the present moment and stabilize your mood when external pressures rise. One of the most powerful anchor habits is micro-movement, not necessarily the intimidating hour-long, high-intensity gym session. It's about physically interrupting the corrosive physiological loop of anxiety and rumination. When we worry or focus intensely on a screen, we invariably slump forward, tighten the jaw, and take shallow, high-chest breaths. This defensive, contracted posture confirms to the nervous system via the vagus nerve that there is indeed an active danger requiring vigilance. We are going to use the body's posture and breath to deliberately signal safety and stability. This focused, intentional stability exercise is better than walking for immediate mental clarity. When you are highly stressed because it demands immediate conscious presence and deep focus on internal sensation, it is a fundamental physical reboot of your nervous system state. Here is the 10-minute reset ritual designed to be performed in the silence of your new anti-anxiety corner. The 10-minute quiet room sequence, total time 10 minutes, requires a silent room and perhaps a single scent cue, like a dab of calming lavender or stimulating rosemary oil on your wrist to further anchor the experience. Minutes, 0 to 1. The silent audit. Focus, sound, and sight. Stand tall or sit completely upright, slightly away from any wall or firm support. Adopt an alert, non-slumped posture. Close your eyes and simply listen deeply. Identify the farthest, most subtle sound you can hear outside the room. Then, identify the nearest internal sound, e.g., your own heartbeat, your breathing. Do not judge, analyze, or attach a story to the sounds, just register their presence. Now, gently open your eyes and look only at your visual anchor, the simple, clear object. Notice its color, the way the light hits its surface, its texture. Give your brain explicit permission to focus its processing power on only this one benign, simple input. Minutes, 1 to 3. Grounding and posture correction. Focus, body and gravity. If standing, consciously feel the weight distributed perfectly evenly through the four corners of both feet, rooted to the floor. If sitting, feel the chair beneath your sit bones and your back gently lengthening upward. Gently roll your shoulders back, down, and slightly away from your ears. Correcting this subtle forward head posture immediately improves oxygen flow. Place one hand flat on your lower belly, one hand high on your chest. We are performing the physiological steady breath. Inhale slowly and fully through the nose for a count of 4, aiming to feel the hand on the belly rise significantly. The diaphragm should be working, not the chest muscles. Hold the breath gently for a count of 2. Exhale very slowly through gently pursed lips for a prolonged count of 6 or 7. Let the breath empty completely until the belly hand falls flat. Repeat this 6-7 second long exhale 10 times. This long, gentle exhalation rhythm is the most immediate, powerful physiological signal to your vagus nerve that you are completely safe and the threat response can be deactivated. Minutes 3-7. Mental release and gaze stabilization. Focus, mind, and movement. While continuing the slow, steady, diaphragmatic breathing, begin a slow, highly focused movement ritual. If sitting, gently nod your head, yes, very slowly and deliberately 3 times, focusing on the stretch at the back of the neck. Then, gently turn your head, no, 3 times, looking over each shoulder. This releases the deep chronic tension held in the neck muscles, which often restricts optimal blood flow to the memory centers. Now, fix your gaze on an object across the room that is level with your eye line. If standing, begin walking in place extremely slowly. If sitting, gently shift your weight side to side or forward and back. Crucially, keep your gaze fixed unwaveringly on that single stable point while the body moves subtly beneath it. This deliberate, stable gaze, while the body performs gentle motion, helps interrupt deep rumination patterns and strongly anchors you in the present physical moment, enhancing bilateral brain stimulation. This is highly effective simple walking meditation, foot stability, fixed gaze, steady sound of breath. Minutes 7 or 10, positive self-talk and internal anchor. Return to a perfectly still, comfortable, upright posture. Gently place your hand over your heart or on your inner forearm, a soothing self-touch cue. Now, engage in positive, declarative self-talk. This is not open-ended journaling or intellectualizing. It is simply speaking a few clear, structured thoughts aloud or distinctly whispered. This technique forces structure and linearity, which is how you talk to yourself like this, to organize and solidify disorganized thinking. Example, affirmation sequence. I am present. I am safe and anchored here. My breath is steady and supportive. I release the need to solve everything right now. I have enough energy and time for this moment's focus. Repeat your chosen focus phrase 3 times, feeling the vibration of the words. Spend the last minute simply observing the quiet room and the stable state of your own body. Feel the profound contrast between the frenetic mental state 10 minutes ago and the calm, coherent state you have just cultivated. Daily mental hygiene. The power of intentional slow mornings. Skipping a slow, intentional morning routine leads directly to mental fog, high stress reactivity, and emotional volatility throughout the entire day. The common modern rush, wake up, grab late caffeine, immediately check the phone, floods the system with external demands and urgency signals within seconds. This process starts the day in a massive cognitive deficit and triggers a cascade of stress hormones before you've even dressed. Optimal mental hygiene requires starting the day with clean, low-demand input. Your morning light, your first deep breaths, and a warm tea ritual is your essential immune system fortification for the mind, maximizing resilience against the day's inevitable pressures. The optimal start sequence for cognitive resilience. 1. Morning light setting. Obtain natural light exposure within 30 minutes of waking before performing complex tasks. This exposure must register in the retina to effectively set your crucial circadian rhythm, which governs cortisol release, stress management, and subsequent melatonin production, sleep quality, later that night. Open the curtains, sit by the window for 5 minutes, or ideally, step outside. Do not check your phone or a blue screen yet. 2. Hydration. First, always. Before consuming any coffee, tea, or food, drink a large 12-16 oz glass of plain water. Dehydration is a massive, widely under-recognized cause of profound brain fog, headaches, fatigue, and irritability, especially in older adults whose thirst mechanism may be blunted. Water is the solvent for all neurotransmitter activity. 3. The best focus ritual. Has no digital input. Dedicate a specific protected time, even just 10 to 15 minutes, where you consume a warm drink, herbal tea, coffee, warm water, and simply exist without any digital device input, no news, no email, no social media. This protected transitionary time allows the brain to move naturally and gently from sleep states, delta, theta, to fully functional wake states, beta, without being violently shoved into immediate problem-solving mode. Use this time for reflection or simply staring out the window. If you find yourself stuck in a pervasive rumination loop, an endless repetitive replay of worries or past conversations, that 10-minute quiet ritual, or simply talking your thoughts aloud to organize them into coherent sentences, is better than journaling, the 3-minute spoken reset. Open-ended journaling often involves detailed analysis and emotional deep diving, which can sometimes increase the emotional charge or complexity of the worries. Speaking thoughts aloud forces structure, linearity, and logic, a verbal narrative structure, immediately pulling you out of the messy circular emotional loop and grounding the thoughts in reality. Autonomy and cognitive independence, the fierce act of self-regulation. My central mission is to prove that genuine independence and grace in the aging process isn't achieved by merely avoiding help. It's about proactively maximizing your own internal resources, your clarity, your energy, your calm, so you can confidently choose what you need, rather than being forced into dependence on external fixes, medication, constant intervention, for internal chaos you could have managed. Every conscious choice you make to reduce visual clutter, to stabilize your blood sugar through mindful eating, or to take a deliberate, slow, deep breath is an immediate, fierce act of autonomy and self-governance. It is you taking direct, immediate control of your own nervous system and internal state. Today, without waiting for permission, a complicated prescription, or a new piece of technology. We've talked about managing physical space, optimizing food intake, and using movement and breath, all leading to one central critical goal: maintaining unshakable emotional clarity and profound cognitive resilience. These aren't simply lifestyle tips, they are the architectural blueprints for a peaceful, high-functioning life after 60, built on self-respect and intentional design. A critical note on limits and safety. Always respect your physical limits. If any movement or breathing technique detailed here feels uncomfortable, painful, or triggers dizziness, stop immediately and return to simple, natural, effortless breathing. These routines are designed to be gentle and therapeutic, but they must be adapted as needed to your current physical capabilities. If you have complex medical or psychological conditions, consult a qualified professional regarding significant changes to diet or routine. These habits powerfully support your ongoing health journey. They are never intended to replace necessary medical care or professional psychological support. The challenge. Start with micro-momentum today. You do not need radical, disruptive, overwhelming change to see immediate results. You need focused, intentional micro-momentum. Your actionable challenge starts now. 1. The calming visual. Swap. Identify just one single item on your most used surface, kitchen counter, desk, bedside table, that is visually noisy, distracting, or demanding attention. Move it, hide it, or organize it completely into a container. Create one small, perfect anti-anxiety corner right now, today. 2. The 10-minute action. Commit to practicing the 10-minute quiet room sequence, or simply the 3-minute steady, 6-second exhale breath and posture correction, sometime between 4 p.m. and bedtime today. Use this intentional ritual to physically signal deep safety and relaxation to your body. Choose one calming food swap, e.g., eat protein fat before carbohydrates at lunch, and implement the 10-minute reset. Experience the immediate, undeniable shift from cognitive overwhelm and anxiety to deliberate, sustained presence and calm. Tell me, which calming swap, visual clutter, light management, or steady breath are you starting today? And what specific topic about healthy aging, deep dive memory hacks, advanced gut-brain stabilization, or managing acute social anxiety would you like to hear about next? Let's build this resilient foundation together, brick by deliberate brick.